Hello and welcome. You're watching To The Point. As the Modi government completes 10 months in office, there's a widespread impression that the Prime Minister has been surprisingly adept and successful in handling foreign policy. Many people believe this is possibly his greatest success. In part 2, that's the key issue I shall discuss with India's former National Security Advisor and Foreign Secretary Shiv Shankar Menon, who's given us his first interview since stepping down as NSA last May. But first, the confusion and controversy over the alleged snooping or security checking on Rahul Gandhi. After an angry press conference by the Congress spokesperson on Saturday, both houses of parliament witnessed acrimonious debates with large sections of the opposition walking out. So tonight we ask, is the Congress party's claim of espionage and snooping accurate, or is it a huge overreaction that flies in the face of all the known facts? That's the first debate tonight. And joining me now to discuss whether Rahul Gandhi has been spied upon or whether the Congress is deliberately exaggerating is Congress spokesperson and MP Abhishek Singhvi, BJP spokesperson Sambit Patra, the political editor of the Hindustan Times Vinod Sharma, and the well-known columnist and commentator Ashok Malik. Vinod Sharma, today's Hindu suggests that in fact Rahul Gandhi, despite the protests we heard from Abhishek Singhvi on Saturday, actually may well have filled in a similar form earlier on. The Times of India says that Sonia Gandhi has been similarly profiled in 1998, 2004, 2009, 2010, 2011 and 2012. Now, if all of that is true, and Congress hasn't really effectively denied it, except briefly when Abhishek this afternoon said it wasn't so, but other channels actually have photocopies of the pro forma Sonia has filled in, then in that event, is Congress overreacting? That's my question to you. Is Congress overreacting?
Well, of course, there is an element to overreaction in what the Congress has said and done till now on this issue. But at the same time, I think that the government has barely helped its cause. Just to say that, you know, this pro forma has been filled up by the Prime Minister, by the Home Minister, by the Congress President. And I think that, you know, had the Home Minister gotten up and said that, look, this is a very archaic way of collecting information. And
oh, we've lost him at that point from Hyderabad. Abhishek Singhvi, given that perhaps 526 people have been covered by the police exercise to profile residents of Lachan's Delhi, and that list includes Prime Minister Modi, L.K. Advani, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Dr. Manmohan Singh, Sonia Gandhi, and according to some papers, possibly Rahul Gandhi on earlier occasions, why did you make such a huge fuss on Saturday claiming this is espionage?
I'm glad you asked the question, because this is a classic case of distorting what I have said in Parliament by the BJP and then answering it and shooting it down. Two fallacies. Number one, our objection has never been to a form had it been sent to us. I'll just show you in a minute why it was never sent, but that apart. The objection which I took on Saturday and today I again took it in great detail is not to the form, because a form would be sent only two ways to you, Karan, either by post, please fill up and send to me, or I will seek an interview to fill up the form. Neither was done. On the 2nd of March, which
I have to correct you. I have to correct you.
A person was
I have to correct you, Abhishek Singhvi. I'm going to have to correct you. The government says that, in fact, the ASI visited Rahul's house on the 3rd of March, left the form behind. So that is an effective way of delivering a form to be filled.
You have not heard my briefing on 4:15 today. First of all, the commissioners got it wrong. It was 2nd of March, not 3rd of March. Please record it. I said it at 4 o'clock, repeating to you again. Completely wrong. Second, he never came with the form. He was roaming around asking questions, and then he asked questions of people he did not know were his staff. He was accosted. When he was accosted by the SPG and Rahul Gandhi's staff, the form was found upon him. That's the objection we raised. Secondly, the second meeting was on 12th of March, when two beat constables from Tughlaq Road police station came. We never objected, because they came with the form into the house. Third, on 14th of March, Mr. Narwal and Mr. Roy, DCP and one more ACP, came. Apart from coming officially, they started asking questions about who are the assistants, aides and friends of Mr. Rahul Gandhi with their addresses. Now the first and third we find objectionable. And all the 526 examples you are giving, Karan, by the way, are not SPG protectees. And the most important, Karan, I have said at 4:15 today, I am repeating, we have checked up. Never before has Sonia Gandhi or Mr. Rahul Gandhi himself or through his secretary filled up such a form.
Can I stop you? Can I stop you there? Can I stop you there?
Commissioners said this is idiotic.
Can I stop you there? Never mind. No, just a moment. Let's not go on to other issues. You're giving the government a challenge on the fact when you say Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi have never before filled up such a form. Arun Jaitley has said that he would be... Let me finish. Arun Jaitley in the Rajya Sabha said he would be prepared if there was a challenge to show the 526. He actually said so this morning. Would you be embarrassed if the forms that were filled either by Sonia or on behalf of her by her staff were presented to you? Because according to government sources, such forms were filled in 98, 2004, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. You're challenging the government and they could disprove you here.
Let me clarify it straight away. Not embarrassed in the least, for the simple reason that if somebody has filled up a form on the basis of information collected, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi or their secretaries or staff have not filled up any form. I am repeating. But it is entirely possible that in a routine exercise somebody has collected information and filled up a form. That's not what I am saying. I clarified it at 4:15. I am doing it again.
You're walking on a very thin, slender argument over here. I have to put it to you.
That's what you think.
Well, that's certainly what I think. Let me bring in others and see what they think.
Yes.
You're hearing from the Congress spokesperson 2 or 3 points that I have said, and it's not for me to be judgmental, are very thin and slender. But it's not for me to be judgmental. First of all, he says it's possible someone filled up a form on behalf of Sonia Gandhi having collected the information, but she and her staff didn't do it. Secondly, he's pointing out that the date given officially by the Police Commissioner 3rd of March for the visit to Rahul Gandhi's house is wrong. It happened on the 2nd, not the 3rd. And then on the 3rd, in fact, 2 beat constables did come with the form. But on the 2nd, the man who came didn't have a form. It was in his pocket. He didn't present it and he was seen to be snooping around. There's no doubt that in terms of small detail...
Beat constable came on 12th, not 4th.
Well, you said 2nd actually. Now you're saying 1st. But you did say 2nd actually a moment ago. So be correct on the dates. What date are you saying?
They came on 2nd, the man snooped on 2nd, the next, no, the Shamsher Singh was snooping on 2nd without a form. 12th, 2 beat constables came, and 14th, Narwal and Roy came.
So this is different to what you said, because you first said 2nd and 3rd, then you corrected yourself and said 1st. Today. Now you're going back to 2nd and 12th. Please be sure about the dates, Mr. Singhvi, because there's a confusion here.
Karan, I have spoken this at 4:15.
Well, you're saying different things here. What are you saying here? Stand by what you're saying here.
I'm not. I'm sorry.
Are the dates...
You are rephrasing what I'm saying. I did not say this.
Actually,
I've always said 2nd. Police Commissioner wrongly said 3rd.
And then after the 2nd, what was the next date?
12th. Okay. I said so clearly.
No, but actually earlier in this program, you may have made a mistake. You said 2nd and then you said 3rd, but you stand corrected and I accept that. What is being pointed out is small but possibly telling inaccuracies in the government version to do with dates, to do with who filled up that form, whether it was Sonia, her staff, or whether someone else did it. How much of a hole does that blow in the credibility of the government? Because too many little inaccuracies sow doubt, they create suspicion, and there are a lot of such inaccuracies emerging.
This is a open and a shut case. I mean, something I don't see any reason as to why there should be so much a brouhaha around a non-issue anyhow. I should answer it very correctly. I mean, you see inconsistencies and confusion in the answers given by the Congress spokespersons across the channel today, because once you speak a lie in the beginning, you have confounding lies which follows thereafter, and that is what is happening over here. If I am correctly suggesting, Karan, you would remember the very first day my able friend Abhishek Manu Singhvi...
You're not answering my question. I asked you about the inconsistencies
as far as Sonia Gandhi,
from the government's point of view.
No inconsistencies, absolutely.
Well, he just pointed out the dates are wrong.
When you pointed out...
He pointed out the dates are wrong.
2 points. Number one, 526 people have filled this form. Arun Jaitley himself spoke on the floor of the parliament and he told that if challenged, he would show that to the people. Secondly, as far as Sonia Ji's form is concerned, I think most of the people now who are coming to the channel's debate have gone through the form because it is available at number of places. And I'll tell you why Sonia Ji must have filled it. There is a reason. Because the birthmark that she gives cannot be noticed by anyone other than her.
What is this birthmark that she gives?
I'm not going to disclose that. Channels are disclosing with all my decency in my at my disposal. I am not going to speak.
In other words, what you're saying is that either this form was filled in with information supplied by Sonia or filled in by herself because of the nature of the birthmark.
Exactly.
A third person wouldn't have known.
Cannot. An ASI, for God's sake, cannot write the birthmark that a lady writes for herself.
Let me go back
with all the channels.
Let me go back. Abhishek Singhvi, you're hearing what Sambit Patra is saying. He says the nature of the information about that birthmark on that form suggests either Sonia Gandhi filled in the form herself or it was filled in on her behalf by someone who knew, to whom she had communicated those details, because no third person would have known about this particular birthmark. It is such a personal bit of information, it could only have come from her. Doesn't that disprove your claim she hasn't filled it in, or it wasn't filled in on her behalf?
It will disprove my claim, Karan, when either you, I or Mr. Patra have that form, the mythical form he's talking about. Where is the form? Where is the birthmark on the form? And let us see who has signed it, who has filled up. It is entirely possible that somebody has filled it up by looking at encyclopedias or published CVs. But I would like to see the form first.
Okay.
So please don't speak in the air as far as he is concerned, number one. Number two, the point is not about the form at all. I am saying if you send a form to you, I cannot object. Here is a person who comes without a form, he doesn't come home.
Yes, you made that point.
When he's accosted, a form is produced.
Let's not hog up time repeating points you've made. Let's not hog up time repeating points you've made. You were heard. You're pointing out an inconsistency which Sambit Patra did not answer. I'm going to put that.
I'll answer that if you want.
Let me go to Ashok Malik and I'll come back to you. Ashok Malik, the opposition's case, from what I can tell, critically rests upon the sort of inconsistencies they're pointing out. There are those pointed out by Abhishek Singhvi to do with dates, 2nd, 12th and later on, but there were different versions he gave in confusion earlier on. Then there are inconsistencies pointed out about Sonia Gandhi, whether she filled it or not. In addition, the Congress spokesperson is also saying that 2 police commissioners, Ved Marwa and B.K. Gupta, denied that any such form exists. And finally, when the police on Saturday said that Veerappa Moily and P.C. Chacko had been asked to fill similar forms, those 2 gentlemen have subsequently told the Times of India they didn't fill such a form. Now, do those inconsistencies as spelt out vitiate the government's case, or are they just irrelevant details that don't affect the main story put out by the government? Answer that.
Look, politically, you could either believe the government or believe the Congress. I tend to believe the government in this case, but let's put that aside for the moment. If Mr. Singhvi, who's a distinguished lawyer and a Rajya Sabha MP, believes the government is lying and that Mr. Arun Jaitley has essentially lied on the floor of Parliament, he is within his rights to move a privileged motion against Mr. Jaitley and separately to sue the government for defamation against Mr. Chacko, Mr. Moily and Mrs. Sonia Gandhi. Why doesn't the Congress go ahead and do that?
In other words, you're saying that the right course
for all of us.
You're saying the right course of action, if they believe that in fact the finance minister has lied, is to challenge him on the floor, and if he then can't prove his claim that Sonia Gandhi is one of those 526 people, he will be embarrassed in the public eye and in Parliament. Is that the challenge you're saying they should
then he should resign from the government. That's the logical thing to expect.
Very quickly,
why doesn't the Congress go ahead and do that?
Now that you're hearing the Congress spokesman publicly and repeatedly say that Sonia Gandhi didn't fill that form herself, it wasn't filled on her behalf by any secretary, some other person who may have got the information may have done it. He even suggested it could have been got from an encyclopedia. Will Arun Jaitley respond to this critical challenge tomorrow? Sambit Patra,
no, definitely. If you raise this question as a privilege motion and all, definitely he will respond, because as a finance minister of the country, when he says that 526 people have filled this form, he says that with all responsibility at his disposal. He's a finance minister of the country, and I know Mr. Abhishek Menu Singhvi also within the heart of heart knows that such profilings are going on. Otherwise, the performer that you are showing would not have been in existence.
My main point is this: Arun Jaitley, you're saying as finance minister,
the government
will take up this challenge.
Floor of the Parliament is the most sacrosanct place in this country.
So they will take up the challenge.
I cannot speak on behalf of the Parliament because I'm the party spokesperson, but as a party spokesperson, I'm of the opinion that no one can dare lie on the floor of the Parliament.
Let me put it like this, Vinod Sharma. The issue has suddenly escalated this evening to a question of Abhishek Singhvi literally claiming the government is lying, denying that any such form was filled in by either Sonia or on her behalf by her staff, that it was perhaps filled by a third person referring to an encyclopedia, questioning the government over the dates when the visits to Rahul Gandhi's house happened, questioning the government even on the grounds that other police commissioners don't know about it. Now, this is a direct challenge on the veracity and integrity of Arun Jaitley. Do you think this is now escalated to a much bigger problem this evening, where the government either has to embarrass Congress by shaming them and showing the form, or be shamed itself?
Well, Karan, I personally feel that to start with, this is a needless controversy.
But it's become a controversy now. Let's not, you're right, it is needless, but it's become one. It's become one. So concentrate on what it's become.
Insofar as privilege motion is concerned, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, of his own, can move a privilege motion that his privacy has been intruded as a member of parliament, without going into what Mr. Arun Jaitley said. Yes, of course, if Mr. Arun Jaitley has made a misstatement on the floor of the House, then he can surely be hauled up before the Privileges Committee, A. B, insofar as marks on the body to identify the body or a person are concerned, may I say that these details are available with the government vis-a-vis any passport holder in this country. You see, you have to mention all these details. You don't have to go to an encyclopedia, because if you fill up a passport form, you'll have to give all these details. Yes, of course. You would have to give the details that who are your friends and what kind of shoes you wear.
I'm interrupting you because I want to try and understand what point are you making. Are you in fact therefore agreeing with Abhishek Singhvi that this is manufactured and not done, as the government claims, by Sonia or her staff? Is that what you're suggesting? Because that's what it sounds like.
I know that, as you know, long years ago, I have known the Delhi police pretty well, and I know how the cops operate. Now, I could not put this beyond the pale of possibility. I'm not saying whether this is right or wrong, but cops do do such routine job by just fill up the things, without actually bouncing the questions of the people concerned. Now, for instance, if the same people had gone to the Prime Minister's office, would they find out that who all are the people the Prime Minister meets? I mean, it's amazing.
Well, they may well have. It's the same form. No, hang on a second. One assumes they would have had to, because it's the same form. I can see hands going up. First, Ashok Malik, and then I'll come to Abhishek Singhvi. Go ahead, Ashok Malik.
This is escalating beyond imagination. If you go by what Vinod Sharma is suggesting, if he is right, then it means that in the 10 years that the UPA was in power and Mrs. Sonia Gandhi was in a sense in power, the Delhi police, which was under the UPA government, was filling forms with information about Sonia Gandhi without actually talking to her.
That's a
which leads us to a whole new controversy.
Fascinating conclusion. Let me put it to Abhishek Singhvi, because Abhishek Singhvi, you were just about. I'm going to Abhishek Singhvi. Abhishek Singhvi, you were the one who suggested that those forms.
Karan, may I say one thing?
Just a moment, Vinod. I'll come to Vinod. I'll come to you later. I need to go to Abhishek Singhvi first.
The Home Minister.
Abhishek Singhvi, you were the one who suggested that the forms purportedly filled in by Sonia were perhaps filled in by someone consulting the encyclopedia. Those were forms filled in when Congress was in power, 2009, 2010, 11 and 12. Are you really suggesting that the Delhi police was acting in some rogue capacity even when they were under the charge of your own Home Minister? Because that's the conclusion
sir,
your
there is
evidence
no rogue
comes
capacity. I think there is complete distortion, Karan. I am saying 4 things. In case it is not clear, let me spell it out. 1, Sonia Gandhi or her secretary, Rahul Gandhi or his secretary did not fill up any such form ever. 2, it could have been filled up. First of all, there is number 2 is important. Not a single person has seen these mythical forms yet.
When you say it could have been filled up, what do you mean it could have been filled up?
If such a form exists, can I finish?
Number 2 hasn't been spelled out. What is number 2?
Let me say my 4 points, Karan.
No, what is number 2?
Let me say my 4 points, please.
I haven't understood number 2.
Number 2 is that nobody has seen these forms which Jaitley is talking about. Unless we see it, we are speculating.
They're on TV at the moment.
You have not seen
but you said that could have been filled up.
Number three, number 3, even assuming such a form exists, it can easily be filled up by encyclopedia, passport or something. It doesn't mean we have filled up.
That's the point I'm making.
The whole issue is not the form, but somebody coming and snooping around.
No, just the point. You've actually reiterated my point for me. If it can easily be filled up by someone looking up the encyclopedia, your words precisely, then in 2009, 10, 11 and 12, when you were in power, the Delhi police must have done that even though they were under the charge of your Home Minister.
May have, we did not fill it up. I am only disputing the fact that we filled it up. I'm only disputing the fact
Under
that she
your Home
rebuilt it up.
Minister,
That's all
the
I'm
Delhi
answering.
police
How
were
do I know
behaving
who
like
built it
a
up?
rogue element against your own party president and the
Why
UP
is it
chairperson.
rogue?
That's
if
bizarre.
I find your passport details, Karan, if I find your passport details, why is it rogue?
Abhishek
What is
Singhvi,
wrong about
I
it?
get the impression that you're
If I
tying
find your
yourself up into
encyclopedia, what is wrong about
multiple
it?
knots. To untie this, you'll need to literally cut it like a Gordian knot with a sword. You're making the situation for your party steadily worse this evening. Do you want to answer
Look, that may be your opinion. Fortunately, it may be only your opinion. I am only saying, why is it rogue if a Delhi police consults a book, passport, encyclopedia, any
Can I
record
answer
is filled
this?
up a form?
Go ahead,
I am
Sambit
only
Patra.
sticking by the stand I've
Abhishek,
taken on instructions.
Mr. Abhishek, can I have my few minutes,
no
last few
staff,
minutes?
No Sonia Gandhi,
Go
no
ahead.
Rahul Gandhi.
Interrupt him and go
That's
ahead.
all.
Go ahead. Interrupt him.
Abhishek, that volumes have been written shows how little is known. You have spoken so much, but yet the truth has not come out because you know that the Congress party is lying. Secondly, look what the contrarian statement you make. You make a statement that from the passport, the Delhi police could have picked up the birthmark of a very important person, an important person as Sonia Gandhi, whose security is of paramount importance. That means during those 10 years period that you ruled, you considered Sonia Gandhi's security of second-rate importance, that even the Delhi police did not have to profile her. The Delhi police had to profile her through encyclopedias. Should not the Delhi police visit her?
You are doing an excellent job damaging your case and digging your grave. I feel I'm going to end this there. With every passing moment, the Congress argument seems to collapse under the weight of its contradictions, and contradictions there are many. I thank you for coming on the show. I thank my guests for joining me, but we leave the situation not just perplexed, confused and bemused, but actually worried seriously about whether the Congress party made a huge mistake claiming this was espionage, claiming this was snooping, when in fact it's something that's been happening under them for 10 years and something that their own leaders probably have been happily doing.